Now, Doctor Strange, after all of that, and apologies for starting a little bit late today, I am under the weather and I'm pre-coffee, so this is going to be interesting. But let's start off with a little bit of non-spoiler here, Alan.
Yeah.
You saw it Wednesday night, and we both had very different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion was, the movie's kind of a mess. It feels like it was reported that Sam Raimi reshot 80% of the movie. It feels like it. And then it was also recently reported that the original running time of the movie was about two and a half hours, 2 hours, 36 minutes. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes. 30 minutes of the movie is gone. So, clearly there's a Raimi cut that's out there because of what he shot.
But we've been complaining about these 2.5-hour movies, and now they give us a 2-hour movie and we're still complaining. I mean, that's
look, is it a better version? We may never know. Marvel's not one to, like, though they do release deleted scenes, they're not one to like release a completely different version. But I saw it again last night, and I will say there's one improvement, one thing I will say, and I saw it in 3D IMAX, and it was the only screening that was in 3D IMAX for some reason. And I have to say, my opinion about the movie hasn't changed, but the 3D is really good. Like, this movie, because of the effects, it's kind of almost made for 3D, the way that the film was done. And it might be some of the best 3D I've seen in a film in a long time. So if you do plan to go see it in the theater, I think the 3D is really good. My complaints about the film were just sort of amplified or confirmed, but you had a different opinion than I did.
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say my daughter and I, we like the movie so much that we are planning on seeing it again in 3D. Okay. And that really actually excited her for the first time because she hates 3D. She hates wearing the glasses. I don't know. I in talking with her and in thinking about this, it's confounding. I honestly don't understand really the hate for this movie or why it's such a bad movie, because I'm going through it and it honestly threw me back to my childhood of reading comic books, and it felt like I'm flipping through pages of just action. And I think I think about the story, the character development of not only Doctor Strange but Christine Palmer, America Chavez, Wanda, and there's a lot of depth behind this. And I think I could complain about little things like, oh, I wish the Illuminati was there longer. But again, on the opposite side of that is this is a Doctor Strange story. And I felt they did a good job keeping it a Doctor Strange story and not letting it, get into, just kind of cameo territory where we're just trying to, pump up a film by throwing in, oh, there's Black Bolt, there's Reed Richards, Professor X. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the discussion we need to have. What exactly is it that people hate about it, and why am I not feeling this?
Well, I mean, one, I didn't want to see a sequel, a season 2 of WandaVision, which this kind of feels like. This is what the movie is burdened with. It's burdened with, they mention events in, Endgame, they mention Infinity War and Endgame is those events are part of it. Like, it's like, I mean, I expect some references, but like, can it be its own movie? And I feel like there's WandaVision stuff. And I didn't finish watching WandaVision. I've really checked out of the Disney Plus series. I feel like the tone of the Disney Plus series is, it feels very Disney, and now I feel like what's happening is the Marvel movies are starting to feel more Disney. And I like the old school Marvel, and fine.
Yeah, but to me, this is what Marvel was always good at, was taking a character, giving it depth to justify their actions. And in the case of Wanda, what I liked about this was that Wanda, it was basically her driven desire, because everything in her life that she ever loved dies at some point. And here are the children, the ultimate form of her happiness, and she can't have them. She never had them, and she has to go to this multiverse to be with them. And this is just classic Marvel, where you have these superheroes but a tragic story behind it. Stephen Strange is the exact same way. he has a love he'll never be with. I'll go back to Wanda real quick. What was interesting to me was, the 616 Wanda was the only Wanda in the multiverse not to have children. And there's a tragic element to that, and that motivates why she did what she did throughout this whole film. This is everything I've always loved about Marvel.
Do you think that they're releasing this movie around Mother's Day for a reason? No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I don't. I think it was a happy happenstance that they could do it on Mother's Day weekend, but I would imagine they want money, and I'm not sure there's going to be a Mother's Day boost for this movie. So,
I mean, if you took your mom to see this movie on Mother's Day, it really, is about motherhood. Wait, do they still call it motherhood now?
Yeah,
we're changing words so often. Or I'm serious. I always hear that like, oh, this is the new way you're supposed to say this. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with the classic. I'm just going to stick with the classic. I think we should switch our banner up to spoil. People are already complaining that you're spoiling the movie already.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez. I mean, well, I spoiled the motivation.
Alan, I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. It's hard to talk about this movie without mentioning some spoilers. So yeah.
People are hating me right now. It's
well, I am with them. I'm with all the people that yeah. Let's see. We have Rob HP7 says it's birthing person day.
Yay. Because I will be seeing the person who birthed me.
Yes, Toasty Danny says the children were always her pigment of imagination. So there you go, birthing peoplehood, says Gabriel. Derek Douglas says birthing person. Come on, Chris.
I know. Can we start with the gendered language?
Yes, yeah. I'm not down for that. I think that we can just stick with the classics. If you want to add some new definitions, fine. That's fine. There are people. There are kids in families that have two mothers. That exists. That's a thing, and two dads as well. So come up with new words, but I don't think we need to suppress and get rid of the classics like Mother's Day. Mother's Day and Father's Day can still continue to exist. So yes, Adam Ledgway says a story about Doctor Strange is about motherhood. What? I mean, it's at least that's Wanda's character arc in the film for sure. Yeah. So, but Gabriel says, thank you for resisting the trend. Chris the Rebel Gore. I'm not so much a rebel as just like a common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense is,
that thing we did, for centuries before 5 years ago.
Yeah. Before 5 years ago, you could
say mother.
It's about some crazy idea that would be considered common sense, and you were just a normal person. And now I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. But we should clarify we are not biologists. So
yes, we're not biologists. Patrick Lemire says persons assigned female at birth. Yeah. That thing is it's well, there you go. So Jeff Brooks says, I feel America Chavez was introduced too soon. I could tell no one in my theater knew her and or cared about her. She was created in 2011. Yeah, it's not like, when those cameos came up and people cheered. I think the biggest cheer was, spoilers now, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic got the biggest, because Black Bolt, it's like, okay, Black Bolt was in the Fantastic Four comics, part of the Inhumans, that I would not expect to cheer for that. Although I love that they got his, like, he has like these sort of wings, and it's like his costume is like completely accurate to the comic, which is so weird to see such an obscure Marvel character.
What you forgot was there was an Inhumans television series, and that was Black Bolt.
Oh no, I forgot that on purpose. Because what I mean is that that Inhumans was so terrible, like it just didn't connect to the comics at all. And I'm like, if you can't get the costumes right, sheesh. And Turo says, although I disagree with Alan and agree with your take, Alan at least has the fortitude to take a side and try to defend his position through his experience with the film. Look, I respect Alan's opinion. I'm not going to this is the thing that people get like all bent out of shape about. I don't care that Alan doesn't think the way I do. Otherwise, are we just going to be the Borg and be hive mind and everyone think the same? No. Like there are people who really dislike the movie much more than I did. You know, I'm like, it's sort of on the lower end of the Marvel movies for me, but having seen it in 3D, it's like, wow, the 3D was really good. And the Raimi scenes where Sam Raimi got to shine and be Sam Raimi, that worked for me. There's a zombie Doctor Strange that is animated and controlled by Doctor Strange, who's in another dimension. He's controlling a dead Doctor Strange, which puts on a cloak of evil spirits, and it's awesome. That's one of the best. That's like very much Raimi in that. But look, Alan, you like the film, and I don't want to ruin your experience of liking the movie. I think, excuse me, people take like their feelings about movies very personally. And I think that, and by that I mean, I do think that an experience of seeing a film is very personal. You love it, hate it, whatever. But my dislike of it should not impede on your enjoyment of it. You feel free to enjoy it. Feel free to dislike it. You could be on my side, the correct side. Not really. No, I'm not. I would never say that. I would never even say that like my opinion is the right opinion. My opinion is an opinion as well as your opinions. If for everyone in the chat who has seen the movie or planning to see the movie this weekend. And I do recommend like see it as soon as possible, because I cannot believe the number of like videos that have been posted on Twitter and YouTube. And I know they're trying to take that stuff down, but like it ruined it for me. Like, there you go.
Yeah. See, and I think that's a big difference. I don't want to know anything about a movie before going in. I've seen the trailers, and I think that's the extent that of what I knew beforehand going into Doctor Strange 2. The other thing was, the only thing I knew is you hated it, and everyone who had seen it with you hated it. And then I'm watching it, I'm going, you know, when America Chavez first shows up, I go, oh, okay, I see where they were going. And then I just started to like it after, you know, right from that first battle scene. And then realizing, oh, I'm gonna have to justify why I like this movie, which is an insane thing to have to do. But A, I'm a critic, and B, you know, I knew I was gonna have to do this that night.
Well, real quick, Solat78 says Doctor Strange 2 was enjoyable, more Raimi than MCU movie. See, look, and that opinion is fine. I'm not going to belittle anyone or you know, or you know, shame anyone for having an opinion that may divert, you know. So there you go. Flaccid Phoenix, Flaccid Phoenix. We'll chat soon. Did anyone else think Professor X looked weird in that chair? I mean, the floating chair is like right out of the comics, right?
Well, no, it's out of the television series.
That's right, the television show. Yeah. They even used the television show music, theme music. Yeah. So, but I thought he had like maybe it was an action figure. I hate to say this. I may have had an action figure 20 years ago of him in that chair. But yeah, he looked a little weird, but like it's a cool reference. I mean, I just think that what people were expecting, and we talked about this before we started the show, that I think my impression of what the movie was going to be kind of did ruin the experience, in the sense that I was expecting Deadpool and, you know, Tom Cruise as Iron Man, and all like a ton of cameos, like multiple versions of, when you go to another universe, he would see Avengers, but maybe like, you know, Tony Stark was Captain America, and Steve Rogers was in the Iron Man costume. Like, I love things like that. Like, one of my favorite comic books is the What If series, and I collect them because they're cheap, and because I just get the old copies, you know. And I
loved What If.
What If is great. Someone also asked in the chat what I thought of The Northman, and I love The Northman. It's one of my two favorite movies this year, RRR, which is an epic Indian action movie, and The Northman. Two films I've seen this year that I think are amazing, and you should seek them out. There is a review of The Northman on this channel, so you know, if it's a movie that opened in theaters and wide release, we've pretty much got it covered. We started doing this on the regular in January, so check that out. And as HVP says, hit the like button twice if you can. Well, if you hit it twice,
because that unlikes, that pulls the like away. You've got to hit it 3 times.
Yeah. But look, I think people are mixed on this, right?
Well, I mean, the question then I have is, you know, I feel like we we ruin a movie even before we step into the theater. And I
True.
feel that's the sense I get with Doctor Strange too. I think people generally have hyped themselves up too much, saw too much, got too many spoilers or too many rumors. I mean, the Deadpool thing was a rumor, but we bought into it, and I feel like that ruins it, which is why I try to stay away from all the gossip and hype before going in to see any movie, basically.
Yeah, I try to avoid actual spoilers, but I love conversation about film. Omar94 says on the topic of America Chavez, that's something I notice in movies where there's pointless characters who shouldn't be there. I mean, she had a story reason to be there.
She had a very specific story reason to be there.
Specific story reason. I mean, she was the person who could travel between multiverses, right? She was the conduit to that. Was she maybe the right character to introduce? I don't know. Like,
I mean, at least they didn't create her out of nowhere; that she already existed within the Marvel universe.
Right. But
I'm not going to fault them for that one necessarily.
no, I won't fault him for that. She just felt like a Disney Plus character. I don't know if it was like her age and sort of her like it just. I feel like there were competing tones in the movie. There's like Sam Raimi trying to say, "Hey, I kind of want to make my version of this movie," and then there's like Kevin Feige saying, "Nah, let's Disney Plus it up." So
here's a character user. You have to use her, and you have to cast a teenager to do it.
And Read by Nature says the horror elements were good. Wanda's photo moving, the deaths of the Illuminati, felt there were shades of both Evil Dead and Darkman. I agree, Read by Nature. Yeah. That's the thing is the Raimi parts were good when he was allowed to be Raimi. So there you go. And Solomon Thornton, Fletcher Williams says, you would think it was the perfect opportunity to have other actors in the classic Marvel heroes costume, Black Doctor Strange, Chick Namor, Lady Professor X. You could have checked all the boxes. Not a bad idea. I mean, I thought that they would do that. They kind of did that with Captain Carter and Captain Marvel. They switched it up and that's fine.
Well, I mean, Captain Carter was in What If, and you weren't going to get Chris Evans. And then Maria Rambeau, she was in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Read by Nature says, I think too much was made of the multiverse concept over the course of WandaVision, Loki, and Strange. It ultimately didn't amount to much or have any real connection. That's true. There was a build up to the multiverse, and I think this is the issue. Like our imagination kind of ruined, in partly ruined the movie for me, because in my imagination, I think about what is possible in a multiverse, and it really amounts to one part of the movie involving the Illuminati. So there you go.
I mean, I look at that Illuminati stuff as, I think you wanted more, but I felt like it was a teaser. It was not meant to, detract away from Doctor Strange, from Stephen Strange's story. And I like the fact that they just presented them and then they unalived them. Maybe. I'm not spoiling it here.
All right.
But maybe their fates don't turn out well. And I like the fact that just the arrogance of, I mean, to me, this was the important part of the movie where who's the bad guy? Is it Wanda or is it Stephen Strange? And I liked, to me that was like, oh, okay, this is interesting storytelling.
Saul says these characters feel hollow to me. I don't know if it's the actors minus Benedict or the direction, but the fierce stare and furrowed brows are everywhere. The lack of emotional range. Yeah. I'll say Fletcher Williams says, Captain Marvel Monica Rambeau was the leader of the Avengers in the 90s. Yeah, I didn't mind her. I thought she was fine. Like the only character I think was not great was John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I don't think he did a great job in the short screen time. He's the smartest guy in the galaxy. And I felt like his take on it, even for the short amount of screen time, it's like John Krasinski didn't know what to do. It's like, well, the costume will do the acting.
Well, Reed Richards was essentially Jim from The Office.
Yeah, it's Jim. It's Jim who can stretch.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's a teaser. We got to see what's going to happen down the road.
They've been teasing a Fantastic Four movie for years. I mean, a real one. I don't think we've ever seen a real one. There have been 3 attempts. We've never seen a true translation of the Stanley Jack Kirby Fantastic Four on the screen. It's just,
I know you have, but we haven't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the Roger Corman one, which was just made to hold on to the rights from 1993, 94. And I was on the set. I'm in the documentary Doomed. check that out. Ganyarana says, hi, Chris. I just discovered you and Film Threat not more than a month ago, and you've done more to improve my mood than any SSRI. Love you. Hi to Alan. Well, it's good. I get love and you get a hi. Thank you, Ganyarana. And thank you. Look, I like to look, I know that like a lot of people will talk about this stuff as like, it's depressing. Like these Marvel movies are look, we had a 10-year, pretty amazing run of mostly good Marvel movies with a great sort of, to me, chapter closing on like that era of the Marvel universe is done. The new era, I'm not very optimistic about, but that's okay. That's why Film Threat exists, because we talk about other options that are out there.